Hey, it's your girl, your favorite paralegal, aka Cassandra Lynn, and welcome to Legal Doc Talk 24/7. Today we're going to be covering Sean Combs, just trying to go through his court dockets and see where these cases stand and what's the movement on them. So let's hop on into it. So as of right now, he has 7 active cases. Um, Let me just make sure. I have a whole spreadsheet. What did I do with it? Okay. Well, I don't deal with. Oh, here it is. So we know Cassie, then Joy Dickerson, Lisa Garza, Jane Doe, Rodney Crystal McKinney, and April Lampros. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. What? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then the newest one was with Miss English. So I'm going to. I have it written down, so I'm going to kind of go from um, how I have it written down. So let me change my screen. So initially, under the New York Adult Survivors Act that actually expired on the 23rd of November of last year. There were a lot of petitions that were filed under this particular cause. And so for Diddy, as of right now, um, initially, he two were filed under the Adult Survivors Act. That was Joy Dickerson, Lisa Gardner, and then in of this year, April Lampros, she filed under the gender, they call it the GMVA, which is the Gender Motivated Violence Act. And I have kind of touched bases on what some of the meaning of those acts were, why they filed under those particular acts, the Adult Survivors Act as well as the GMVA Act. So kind of going off of my list, this is so Lisa Gardner, and if y'all don't know, I believe Tyrone is on. I need to. I don't know if Tyrone is just really taking in these cases because it's against, the defendant Sean Combs, and it's a high profile case, and he's just trying to gain exposure. But for this particular case, I have watched it move from the Supreme Court, which is this is what I'm looking up right now. So this is the Supreme Court, and as you guys can see, there's, and I don't want to say a lot of activity because that's not what it is. There's just, you have the complaint that was filed, and then you have the affidavits is for the individuals getting served, and then you have where they have filed a motion to actually get this particular complaint dismissed only because of the jurisdiction. I believe I stated in a previous video and over his cases that the actions for or the events that took place for Miss Gardner did not happen in New York, but it happened in New Jersey. So on June, they ended up, May, they ended up filing that, and it was granted for it to be moved to the New Jersey court. So here we go. Oh, let me log in. So here, the case was actually filed in the New Jersey Superior Court. And oh my gosh, hold on, let me type this man's name in. I'm like, so that is the biggest thing. When you are working, when you're filing things, you do not want to keep having to move your case to the correct court. Just file it off rip. I really don't understand. I mean, I understand why Tyrone did file it because he wanted to file it up under the Adult Survivors Act that expired. And maybe that was his reasoning. I really don't know. But for you to have to file in one court, then remove it, file it in another court, then remove it, then file it in another court. that doesn't look really competent on the attorney's end because on a client side, it's just like, okay, do you know what you're actually doing? um from the paralegal side, I can understand, but then I don't understand because for me, when I do draft these petitions, like I said, it just depends on the type of law. Like if it's a personal injury case, then you file it where the defendant lives. If it is family law case, you file it in the county in which the petitioner has lived in. But anytime it's against a defendant, it's always going to be where the incident took place or where that defendant lives. So, I mean, I understand and I don't understand, but this is just too much movement that is going on. So for Gardner, it moved from the Supreme Court to the Superior Court in New Jersey. So the New York Supreme Court to the New Jersey Superior Court. That was filed on the 6th. So I was monitoring this and I'm like, okay, okay, I don't see any movement going on. Then I see a notice of removal. I'm like, what? And so I just kind of click on it for you guys to get an idea. So here, this is the notice of removal. And this was filed by the defendants. So this just says, take notice that the above captioned action has been removed to the United States District Court for the District of New Jersey. So I'm like, are you kidding me? So then I I should have had all this taken care of. So here, I'm just showing y'all all the places that I go. So for Miss Lisa Gardner. Now this case has moved to the U.S. District Court for the state of New Jersey. So this is the correct jurisdiction that it has to be filed in order for them to proceed with the case. And they've actually done quite a lot on this case. So while this is pulling up, here it is. Biggest thing as of right now is that these entities such as Universal Music Group, Sony, all of them are trying to get out of suits because the biggest thing that they're saying is that they're not responsible. Only the individual who committed the alleged crimes is responsible. Whew, yeah. So July 12th is when it was finally docketed that it was transferred over to the U.S. court. And so here is just kind of going over everything, the notice of appearance for the councils, and just kind of scrolling right here. There's a lot of pro hoc vice applications that are being submitted. And once again, everybody, y'all know that, that just means that it's a out of state attorney that is working on the case under a licensed attorney in that particular state that they're for the case that they're working on. So that is what's going on right now. So they're just trying to get all the attorneys on file, everybody who's going to be working on a case, they're just trying to get them situated. And then they can go ahead and proceed with this particular case. All right. Who? So that is Lisa Gardner. So let's go back to New York and we're going to look at Miss Joy Dickinson. I believe I'm saying her name right. Dickerson. I wrote it down wrong. Let's see. So it was one of the other cases filed under the Adult Survivors Act that expired on November 23rd, 2023. So going on with this particular case, I believe, let's see, who filed this motion. So the last that I left off was on 6/21 with let's see what this one is. Who filed this? And it's not even, okay, for some reason it's not downloading. Trying to figure out who filed this one. And if I'm not, I might have to go to my list. I don't want to pull up the affidavit. I want to pull up the memo. And if this doesn't work, I'm gonna go ahead and upload what I have. Okay. Yeah. So they filed a motion to dismiss. I'm actually gonna pull it up in my because I saved the file. So give me a sec. Let me get that pulled up for you guys. Took us a nil. Okay. Swap to my PDF right quick. Sorry for the wait. You know what? This is really getting on my nerves. I'm just going to share my whole screen. That just makes it easier for me to go back and forth. So here is initially the motion that was filed. So this is a memorandum of law in support of Combs' partial motion to dismiss the amended complaint. So amended complaint was filed. And I'm not going to go through all of this. I'm just going to kind of touch on the table of contents is pretty much the summary of what the contents of this document, this memorandum is. So here, the reason why they are trying to dismiss this case is because they're saying that the plaintiff, Ms. Dickerson, failed to allege a claim for assault. She failed to allege a claim for intentional infliction of emotional distress. And yeah, so those are the two main points. And then here it just says leave to amend should be denied. Meaning that because she failed to allege a claim for assault and because she failed to allege a claim for intentional infliction of emotional distress, the case should be dismissed and the judge should not give her the opportunity to amend it in order to allege the claims. So that's all that this is. So that was filed on the 21st of June. As of the what is the date that I have? July 17th. As of July 17th, we'll make sure I did. Yes, July 17th. So here, this is the opposition. So Tyrone, and I am going to go back to here. So as you can see, on July 17th, it shows the memorandum of law in opposition to defendant's partial motion to dismiss. So Tyrone is coming back and he's like, I'm opposing for the defendant to for that motion to dismiss the amended complaint. So that is what I'm showing you guys now. So what he is saying, first of all, he's going to list the factual allegations that Combs repeatedly pursued the plaintiff and asked her out on a date, that he forcibly drugged and SA'd her, that he filmed revenge corn tape of the assault, that the plaintiff suffered a mental breakdown following the assault, that she sought justice against Combs for SAing her, that she left the music industry as Combs' rise was too painful to witness, and that she has now continued to suffer the emotional trauma, since all of this has came out. And so now he's arguing that everything that he has stated in his amended complaint is true, that she sufficiently pled assault, and that it caused fear, and that there is a revenge corn tape out there which is extreme and outrageous, and so on and so forth. So he is arguing that, so you guys are saying that we didn't state a claim, but yet I provided you guys and needed to know in the amendment complaint. So, so this is his opposition to them trying to get out of the lawsuit. So he's saying that he has provided this information. What will happen is if the judge takes a look at this, it is up to the discretion of whether or not they are going to allow Tyrone and the plaintiff to amend the complaint. So this will be what the third amended complaint to make sure that he has stated everything in its specifics to ensure, like, okay, if you are filing, under SA, you need to make sure that you provide all the information and evidence regarding SA. If you're saying that she has extreme emotional distress, you need to provide the supportive documentation stating that she has suffered. So it's with this case is just a lot of back and forth. So this is where we are at in the Dickerson case. We are just trying to figure out how the judge is going to rule on. I don't know if they have. It doesn't show as far as, so I don't know exactly when they are going to be hearing these memos or AKA these motions. I just have to, uh, follow up on the court docket to see if anything has been updated. So that is Joy Dickerson. The next individual is Miss April Lampros. And where yet? And this one was filed under the, as you can see here, the tort was the Gender Motivated Violence Act. Who we. So here, the defendants, we have Sean, we have Bad Boys, Arista Records, Sony Music Group, Jane and John Doe's 1 through 10, and ABC Corps. So here, in this particular case, Sony is trying to get out of it. They ended up filing their motion to dismiss this complaint. And are all the affidavit in support and their exhibits to support their motion. So anytime you file a motion, you have to have supporting documentation that the judge is able to look at to support your claim. So for this one, like I said, Sony is trying to get out of this complaint. So they're not trying to dismiss as far as the case in its entirety. They are only trying to get out. Sony is trying to get out of this lawsuit. So what Sony is saying is that the gender motivated violence that did not apply to corporate defendants until 2022. Mind you guys that this the incident took place, prior 2022. So they're what they're saying, uh, how he filed up under this particular act, Sony should not be in a lawsuit because it doesn't apply to them. And so here it says that the GMVL claims are time barred under the statute itself. The plaintiff cannot revive her GMVLs under the New York Survivors Act. She cannot revive her claims under the GMVL revival window because it was preempted by the Adult Survivors Act. This is a lot. So Tyrone if he's going to file a motion in opposition of this motion to dismiss, he's going to have to prove that he filed up under this particular act, and he has to show a connection as to why he filed under this particular act. Now, we all see that it does not apply to corporate defendants until 2022, and they actually went to full certain case law to show them. This is wild. And this is just only an example. So it says the city council enacted the GMVL on December 19, 2000 in response to the Supreme Court's decision in the United States versus Morrison, which is the 592 US of the 598, which declared the federal violence against women act constitutional. As originally enacted, the GMVL provided victims of gender motivated crimes of violence with the cause of act against only the individual who perpetrated the crime. So therefore, what they're saying is you cannot um, go after. You have to go after the individual themselves, which is P Diddy. So they trying to get out of that. They are really trying to get out of that. So I'm gonna keep you guys updated on that part. It's and Tyrone is really gonna have to show why, because mind guys in New York, as you can see, this man, I really about him. You know what? I didn't even look to see. Yep, Tyrone. I just wanted to see if he was the actual attorney. So as you see how Joy Dickerson and Lisa Gardner filed under the Adult Survivors Act, but it was a little bit late when April came, and so he filed under the Gender Motivated Violence Act. So we're going to see how Mr. Tyrone is going to work on this one. In my opinion, I just feel like he just hopped on these cases without doing his due diligence and to ensure that the biggest thing is you don't want to let clients down, but you also have to be true for them. If the statute of limitations has ran out on something, you have unfortunately, honestly, there is nothing that you can do. It really, really, really sucks. But it's very important that these attorneys let these clients know that, hey, unfortunately, the statute of limitations ran out on this, so there's not too much that we can do. But I'm going to see how Tyrone works his way out of the April Lampros case since it was filed after the expiration of Survivors Act. Let's go to Crystal McKinney. Let me close out of all of these. So we're gonna go over to Crystal McKinney, and I mean it's kind of you guys. It's like you guys are seeing me work. Docket number. So we're not gonna get like a lot of action going on, but hey, you never know. All right. So for Miss Crystal McKinney, complaint filed May, summons in May. Let's see. Summons issued, waiver of service, notice of appearance in July. Let's see. Notice of appearance. This is new. Stipulation of voluntary dismissal. Ah, UMG. UMG trying to get out of something. So stipulation in order of dismissal with prejudice. So plaintiff Crystal McKinney through her attorneys and defendants, let's see, by and through their counsel, hereby stipulate and agree pursuant to Rule 41 of the Federal Rules of Civil Procedure that the complaint in this action as UMG Recordings Inc. be and it hereby is dismissed with prejudice. Anytime anything is filed with prejudice, that means that in the future you cannot file a lawsuit against that entity or individual for the same thing. It's done. You can never ever file a lawsuit them ever again regarding the same issue. All references to UME or the Music Entertainment Group in the complaint, including in the caption, shall be deemed to be deleted. Oh, that's interesting. So that means in any document, so this does not dismiss the case, it just dismisses the group from this lawsuit. So that means now you see how it's Universal Music Group Entertainment, they're going to take that out. So any filings that uh, are future, they will no longer be named in this caption, nor in any other part of the lawsuit. So they, I don't want to say they did they big one, I'm pretty sure they got way more lawsuits that they have to deal with. I know their legal team is working overtime. So that's the update with Crystal McKinney. Um, let's go over to Miss English. That is the one where the adult entertainer, the one that was working the white parties. Let's see what's going on with hers. Here we go. All right. So complaint filed July 3rd. Pro Hawk Vice order, scheduling order, Pro Hawk Vice, and notice of appearance. So once again, just getting all the attorneys together who's going to be working on the case. This is a notice of appearance of her counsel. So I don't know where her counsel. Oh, they're from Florida. Okay. So this is just a matter of getting all of the attorneys, whether they're in Florida, New York, California, whoever's working on this case, they have to make sure that they have submitted their Pro Hawk Vice application. And it just really depends on the process for submitting your Pro Hawk application. It may take a while. So we're not going to see a lot of movement until they have, made sure that every attorney who's going to be working on this case has, filed their application and they are granted. So if he's in Florida and he's trying to work in New York, he has to work under a New York licensed attorney. So that is what's going on with her case. Let's see. Then we have the Jane Doe case that nobody really pays attention to. Yeah, sometimes I have to take a break for doing all these SA cases because this is heartbreaking. It's sick and it's breaking at the same time. Uh, let's see. So the complaint was filed back in December. Notice of appearance. Let's see. Summons was issued. I can just kind of scroll down because I know I've covered this. All right. So motion to dismiss complaint filed by Bad Boy Entertainment, Sean Comp. Okay, let me see who actually filed this. Support of Combs defendant's motion to dismiss the amended complaint. Um, so let's see. The claim revival. And this is kind of like the what other case was I talking about? Was it Lampos? I think it was Lampos or Dickerson. I can't remember which one. It's under the same thing. Like y'all can't be trying to file lawsuits against these entities or any of us. Um, yep. And so this is right here. Plaintiff decades old VGM claim is time barred, aka the statute of limitations. So what they're saying is that she too long to file this, and that particular act doesn't even cover her because the statute of limitations have ran out. And then another one against corporate defendants. Once again, they're saying that they are not responsible. So Bad Entertainment or any of the recording or music moguls that they actually do, they're saying that we're not responsible. That should directly go towards the individual who allegedly committed these crimes. Ooh, 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 ooh. Yeah. So right now, this is what they're fighting on. Um, trying to see. I don't know if Mr. Tyrone, I can, you know what, I can go to a different screen. This man, I honestly believe that he just took on too much too soon. I honestly believe that. Okay, nope, different law firm. Different law firm. So once again, they have to work and file a motion for opposition against that and to prove that she is allowed or she had the ability to file under this particular act. Who we these Diddy cases is something else. And then the last one it was about Mr. Jones, Rodney Jones. That's the one where all the tea was being spilt. Let's see. I did not even write down. Let me see. I'm gonna say Jones versus Combs. Hopefully I find it because I didn't write down the did I say Combs versus Jones versus Combs? Okay, that's Jones Incorporated. Here we go. I need to write number down too, so I don't have to keep going and type in. Okay, so for this one, oh man, this is the one where the attorneys are going back and forth, and Tyrone not submitting documentation that he should do, and so the defense attorneys have filed a motion for sanctions. They also reported him to the to the like the grievance council. Like this dude is just filing these frivolous lawsuits and so on and so forth. So he has a lot that he's dealing with. But let's see. That motion was filed in June, and then here's the order direct everyone to appear to the hearing. So when's the hearing for that motion is October 16th at 10 a.m. So there's no use of me clicking on a document. So that's where they are right here. So this case can't move forward because one, Universal Music Group is trying to get out of this. They're saying that Tyrone or the plaintiff had no basis of actually filing the lawsuit or including them in the lawsuit. So they have asked numerous amount of times for them to be removed. Some emails were exchanged, some hearings took place, and both of the attorneys are going back and forth. And at this point, they're just like, okay, I'll file a motion for sanctions because Tyrone Blackburn is not doing right, acting right. He's not doing what he is supposed to do. That hearing is scheduled on in October. So we got a while for this one. Um so that's all that is going on Diddy case as of now. As far as the federal indictment goes, I am sure that the federal Homeland Security and the FBI, everybody is still in the process of reviewing and collecting evidence and getting witness statements. This is not something that can actually be done overnight. They have to do their due diligence, which will take months, could be up to a year. We don't know. Whatever they found in the house, they have to make sure that they have a very solid case before they do any type of indictments. I can assure you that. Now, these cases, as far as these cases that I went over, they will play a vital role because a lot of the evidence that these plaintiffs can provide can help out when it comes to that federal indictment. So it's just a waiting game. The litigation does not it's not something that can be a open and shut case, especially of this magnitude and of who the individual is. So we got to give them some time to make sure that they bring a solid case. I strongly believe that there are more players in this game. We've read in petitions where they name, countless individuals, but I've always said I think this is bigger than Diddy. Epstein is gone. Epstein is gone. And if y'all know Epstein, y'all see the correlation to this. Donald Trump is in that too. Donald Trump is in that. But tell me what you guys think. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Leave a comment below. Until then, be blessed, and I'm out.